everyone. Today, I want to share something that will challenge you, push you, and maybe even make you uncomfortable. But that's exactly what growth requires: discomfort. We all admire people who seem unstoppable, those who rise above challenges, turn failures into fuel, and refuse to let setbacks define them. But here's the truth: they weren't born that way. They learned, they struggled, they faced hard lessons that most people shy away from. So today I want to talk about 20 hard lessons that will make you unstoppable. Some of these lessons will be tough to hear, but if you embrace them, they will transform you. They will separate those who simply wish for success from those who relentlessly pursue it. Discomfort is an unavoidable part of growth. It is the space between where you are and where you want to be. It is the challenge, the resistance, the struggle that forces you to evolve. The problem is that most people avoid discomfort because it feels like pain, and pain is something our brains are wired to escape. But what if we saw discomfort not as an enemy but as a signpost? What if instead of retreating from it, we leaned into it? Every breakthrough, every moment of transformation begins with discomfort. The strongest individuals in history, athletes, leaders, innovators, did not become great by avoiding difficulty. They became great because they faced it head on. They understood that growth does not come from easy wins, but from the moments when quitting feels like the best option, yet they choose to persist. Discomfort is present in every meaningful pursuit. When you first start something new, whether it's a skill, a career, or a challenge, the beginning feels awkward. You make mistakes, you struggle, you doubt yourself. This is the phase where most people give up. They assume they are not naturally talented or cut out for it, but in reality, they are simply experiencing the discomfort of growth. The only way to push past this phase is to stay in it, to keep going despite the unease, because on the other side of discomfort is competence, confidence, and ultimately mastery. Think about the gym. If you want to build muscle, you have to lift heavier weight. But lifting heavier weights is uncomfortable. Your muscles burn, your body shakes, and your mind tells you to stop. Yet, if you embrace that discomfort and push through, your muscles grow. The same principle applies to life. The situations that test you, that make you question whether you can continue, are the ones that make you stronger. Discomfort is not just about pushing limits physically. It applies to personal growth, emotional strength, and intellectual expansion. When you challenge your own beliefs, when you put yourself in rooms where you are not the smartest person, when you take risks that expose you to failure, you are experiencing discomfort in its most valuable form. This is the kind of discomfort that rewires your thinking, that forces you to become adaptable, that gives you resilience. The most successful people in the world are those who have trained themselves to tolerate discomfort. They don't run from it. They don't see it as a sign to stop. Instead, they recognize it as proof that they are stepping into new territory. The mind, like the body, adapts to what it is exposed to. If you condition yourself to embrace discomfort over time, what once felt overwhelming becomes normal. The challenges that once intimidated you become part of your routine. Fear is closely linked to discomfort. Often, what makes us uncomfortable is the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure, the fear of rejection. But if you examine those fears, you will find that most of them are imagined. We assume that failure means the end, but failure is just feedback. We assume that rejection means we are not good enough, but rejection is simply redirection. The discomfort of fear is the only thing standing between you and the life you are capable of living. When you look at the most impactful moments of your life, you will realize they were often born out of discomfort. The first time you spoke in public, the time you took a leap of faith in your career, the moment you had to make a tough decision. Every single one of these experiences brought uncertainty, stress, maybe even self-doubt, but they also made you stronger. They expanded your ability to handle challenges, and they prepared you for the next level. People often say they want to be more confident, but confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build through action, and that action almost always involves discomfort. The more you push through difficult situations, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable. That proof turns into confidence. And confidence turns into the ability to take on even bigger challenges. If you want to grow, if you want to become unstoppable, you must change your relationship with discomfort. Instead of avoiding it, seek it out. Instead of seeing it as pain, see it as progress. Every time you feel discomfort, remind yourself that you are stepping into growth, into transformation, into the person you are meant to become. Failure is something most people fear. It is often seen as a reflection of inadequacy, a sign that one is not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. Society has conditioned people to avoid failure at all costs, to strive for perfection, to make sure they always succeed. But the reality is that failure is not a permanent state. It is not a label that defines a person. It is simply a lesson, a stepping stone toward growth. The most successful individuals in history did not get there by avoiding failure. They got there by learning from it, adapting, and continuing forward. The fear of failure is what stops most people from even trying. They hesitate, overanalyze, and second-guess themselves because they are terrified of making mistakes. But what if mistakes were not something to be ashamed of? What if they were simply part of the process? Every great achievement has been built on a foundation of failures. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not the absence of failure, but the ability to see failure as feedback rather than defeat. When a child learns to walk, they fall repeatedly. They do not sit down after falling and decide that walking is not for them. They get up, adjust, and try again. The same principle applies to everything in life. The problem is that as people grow older, they begin to attach emotions to failure, shame, embarrassment, disappointment. But failure is nothing more than an indicator that something needs to change. It is information. It is an opportunity to improve. Every time you fail, you gain insight. You learn what does not work. You discover weaknesses that need to be strengthened. You build resilience that cannot be developed in any other way. If you never fail, it means you are not challenging yourself enough. Playing it safe might protect your ego, but it also limits your growth. The most dangerous thing is not failing. It is staying stagnant because of the fear of failure. Some of the most successful people in the world have failed more times than most people have even tried. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job. These individuals did not let failure define them. Instead, they used it to fuel them. They understood that failure was not an endpoint, but a necessary part of the journey. There is a common misconception that failure is the opposite of success. Every failure carries a lesson, and those who succeed are simply the ones who apply those lessons rather than letting failure discourage them. They see each setback as a test of their determination, as a challenge to improve. They do not dwell on their mistakes. They analyze them, adjust their strategy, and move forward. Many people spend their lives avoiding risks because they are afraid to fail. But the greatest risk of all is not taking any risks. Growth requires stepping into uncertainty. It requires being willing to make mistakes. It requires having the courage to fail and the wisdom to learn from it. The moment you stop fearing failure, you become unstoppable. You no longer hesitate, you no longer hold yourself back, and you no longer let temporary setbacks define your potential. One of the most powerful shifts a person can make is changing their perspective on failure. Instead of seeing it as a reflection of their worth, they must see it as a necessary part of mastery. Instead of internalizing failure as personal inadequacy, they must externalize it as a situation to be improved. The people who grow the most in life are not the ones who succeed without failure, but the ones who fail and keep going. Failure is a test of resilience. It forces people to confront their weaknesses. to refine their approach, and to push past their limits. Without failure, there is no growth. Without failure, there is no progress. The key is not to avoid failure, but to extract the lesson from it. The faster one learns from failure, the faster they move forward. Those who embrace this mindset never truly fail. They either win or they learn. Motivation is often seen as the driving force behind success. People wait for motivation to strike before they take action, believing that inspiration will carry them through difficult times. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Some days a person feels energized and ready to take on any challenge, while other days they feel uninspired and unmotivated. If success depended solely on motivation, very few people would achieve greatness. This is why discipline is far more important. Discipline is what keeps a person moving forward even when they do not feel like it. It is the ability to show up, put in the work, and stay committed regardless of circumstances. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not the ones who rely on motivation. They are the ones who have built habits and routines that ensure they take action no matter what. Discipline is about making a commitment to oneself and following through on that commitment consistently. It is about training the mind to prioritize long-term goals over short-term comfort. While motivation is based on feelings, discipline is based on decisions. A disciplined person does not ask themselves whether they feel like doing something. They simply do it because they have made a commitment. Discipline is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It is easy to set goals. It is easy to visualize success, but none of that matters if there is no consistent action behind it. The difference between success and failure often comes down to a person's ability to stay disciplined when things become difficult. Everyone experiences days when they lack motivation, when they feel tired, when they doubt themselves. But disciplined individuals push through those moments because they understand that success is built on daily effort, not occasional bursts of inspiration. The key to discipline is structure. When something becomes a habit, it no longer requires motivation. Brushing teeth, for example, is not something most people need motivation for. It is simply a routine. The same principle applies to any habit that leads to success. If a person wants to be physically strong, they do not go to the gym only when they feel like it. They set a schedule, they follow a plan, and they show up even when they are tired. If a person wants to build a successful business, they do not work only when they feel inspired. They commit to the process, they work through setbacks, and they stay consistent. Discipline requires self-restraint. It means resisting the temptation to take the easy route. It means choosing to do the right thing instead of the convenient thing. In a world filled with distractions, developing discipline is harder than ever. There are endless sources of entertainment, social media, and quick dopamine hits that make it easy to avoid difficult tasks. But those who master discipline understand the importance of delayed gratification. They recognize that short-term discomfort leads to long-term success. One of the most effective ways to build discipline is through small daily actions. People often make the mistake of trying to change everything at once, setting unrealistic expectations that lead to burnout. Instead, progress happens through small, consistent efforts. Waking up 30 minutes earlier, reading 10 pages a day, exercising for just 15 minutes. These small habits compound over time. As discipline strengthens, these small efforts turn into major results. Another crucial aspect of discipline is accountability. When a person holds themselves accountable, they remove excuses. It is easy to justify skipping a workout or procrastinating on an important task, but accountability eliminates those justifications. Some people use external accountability, mentors, coaches, or partners who hold them to their commitments. Others develop internal accountability, training themselves to stay disciplined without outside influence. The strongest individuals combine both, ensuring that they stay on track no matter what. Discipline also requires a mindset shift. Instead of viewing difficult tasks as burdens, a disciplined person sees them as necessary steps towards success. They reframe their thinking, understanding that discomfort is part of the process. They embrace the struggle instead of avoiding it. The more a person strengthens their discipline, the less they rely on motivation. They develop an internal drive that pushes them forward regardless of how they feel on any given day. Building discipline is not easy, but it is one of the most valuable skills a person can develop. It is the foundation of success in any area of life. The ability to take consistent action, to stay focused, to push through challenges. These are the traits that create unstoppable individuals. Motivation may start the journey, but discipline is what ensures progress continues no matter the obstacles. The way a person thinks shapes their entire reality. Every action, every decision, and every outcome is influenced by the beliefs held in the mind. A strong mindset creates opportunities, while a weak mindset creates limitations. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who remain stagnant is not just talent, resources, or luck. It is the way they think. Those who develop an unshakable mindset understand that success is not just about external circumstances, but about internal conditioning. The mind is like a lens through which the world is viewed. If the lens is negative, everything appears difficult, unfair, and unattainable. If the lens is positive, challenges become opportunities, obstacles become lessons, and failures become stepping stones. The way a person interprets their experiences determines how they respond to them. Two people can face the same setback, but one may see it as a reason to quit, while the other sees it as a reason to try harder. The only difference is their mindset. A growth mindset is essential for success. People with a fixed mindset believe that abilities, intelligence, and talents are set in stone. They think that if they are not naturally good at something, they never will be. This belief keeps them from trying new things, taking risks, and pushing themselves beyond their comfort zones. On the other hand, those with a growth mindset believe that abilities can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. They see challenges as opportunities to improve rather than as threats to their self-worth. The thoughts a person feeds their mind determine their reality. If someone constantly tells themselves they are not good enough, they will act in ways that reinforce that belief. They will hesitate, doubt themselves, and settle for less than they are capable of achieving. But if they consistently tell themselves that they are capable, resilient, and resourceful, they will take actions that align with that belief. Confidence is not something a person is born with. It is built through repeated exposure to empowering thoughts and actions. Instead of seeing failure as proof of inadequacy, a strong-minded person sees it as proof of effort. Instead of seeing criticism as an attack, they see it as valuable feedback. Instead of seeing hard work as a burden, they see it as an investment in their future. This ability to shift perspective changes everything. It removes the emotional weight from challenges and turns them into stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Belief in oneself is not arrogance. It is the foundation of achievement. Many people wait for external validation before they pursue their goals, but those who truly succeed do not seek permission to believe in their potential. They do not wait for others to confirm their worth. They decide for themselves that they are capable, and they act accordingly. The world reflects what a person believes about themselves. When someone carries themselves with confidence, they attract opportunities. When they doubt themselves, they repel them. The subconscious mind absorbs everything it is repeatedly exposed to. Negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, and constant doubt program the brain for failure. This is why being mindful of thoughts is crucial. The most successful individuals train their minds like they train their bodies. They feed it positive reinforcement, they challenge negative patterns, and they consciously direct their focus towards solutions rather than problems. Every thought is a seed planted in the mind, and those seeds eventually grow into reality. The people one surrounds themselves with also influence mindset. Being around negative, pessimistic individuals makes it difficult to maintain a strong mental state. Their fears, doubts, and limitations become contagious. But being around driven, positive, and ambitious individuals has the opposite effect. It elevates thinking, expands possibilities, and reinforces the belief that success is attainable. Energy is transferable, and the company one keeps has a direct impact on the way they think. The mind must be conditioned daily. Just as the body requires regular exercise to stay strong, the mind requires regular reinforcement to stay resilient. This can be done through reading, affirmations, visualization, and exposure to inspiring content. Those who achieve greatness do not leave their mindset to chance. They actively shape it, protect it, and refine it. They understand that before they can change their reality, they must first change their thinking. Mastering the mind is the key to mastering life. Those who control their thoughts control their actions, and those who control their actions control their destiny. Success is not just about skill or opportunity. It is about the ability to think in a way that creates opportunities, fuels action, and sustains momentum even in the face of adversity. Not everyone will support you. This is a reality that many people struggle to accept. The idea that everyone should be on the same page, cheering for your success, is an illusion. No matter how good your intentions are, no matter how hard you work, there will always be people who doubt you, criticize you, or even hope for your failure. Some may do it openly, while others may disguise their lack of support behind polite words or passive indifference. Understanding this truth is one of the most important steps in becoming unstoppable. One of the biggest mistakes people make is seeking approval from everyone around them. They hesitate to take action because they fear judgment. They hold themselves back because they want validation. They allow the opinions of others to dictate their decisions. But the truth is, trying to please everyone is a losing battle. Even the most successful people in the world have critics. No matter what you do, there will always be someone who disagrees, doubts, or disapproves. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you free yourself from the need for external validation. Some people will not support you because they do not understand your vision. They cannot see what you see. They do not share your ambition, your passion, or your drive. They measure the world by their own limitations, and when they see you attempting something beyond their own capabilities, they assume it cannot be done. Their doubt is a reflection of their own fears, not a reflection of your potential. If you listen to these people, you allow their limitations to become your own. Others will not support you because your growth makes them uncomfortable. When you start to change, improve, and push beyond your current circumstances, it can make those around you feel insecure. Your progress forces them to reflect on their own lives, and if they are not ready to grow, they may try to pull you back down. This is why some people you once considered friends may distance themselves or become negative when you start pursuing success. They are not necessarily bad people, but they are uncomfortable with the idea that you are evolving while they remain the same. There are also those who will actively try to discourage you. Some will mock you, belittle your efforts, or try to make you feel foolish for dreaming big. This can come from strangers, acquaintances, or even close family members. It is important to recognize that their words hold no real power unless you give them power. Their opinions do not define you. The only thing that defines you is how you respond to them. Do you let their words weaken you, or do you use them as fuel to push even harder? Seeking respect is far more important than seeking approval. Approval is temporary, shallow, and conditional. It depends on people's moods, biases, and perspectives. But respect is earned through consistency, hard work, and unwavering dedication. Even those who doubt you in the beginning may eventually respect you if you stay committed to your path. And if they never do, it does not matter, because their approval was never necessary for your success. The key to handling unsupportive people is to focus on your own belief in yourself. If you believe in your vision strongly enough, the opinions of others become irrelevant. You must become so committed to your journey that no amount of doubt, criticism, or negativity can shake you. This requires internal strength, resilience, and a clear understanding of your purpose. When you know why you are doing something, when your vision is stronger than your fear, outside noise fades into the background. It is also important to surround yourself with the right people. Not everyone will support you, but some will. Seek out those who uplift you, challenge you, and push you to be better. Find mentors, like-minded individuals, and people who understand the journey you are on. Their encouragement will make it easier to ignore those who try to bring you down. Having even a small circle of people who believe in you can make a significant difference. At the end of the day, the only validation that truly matters is the one you give yourself. When you stop needing approval from others, you become unstoppable. You no longer hesitate, you no longer seek permission, and you no longer waste energy trying to convince people who were never meant to understand your journey. Instead, you channel all of your focus into your goals, your growth, and your success. Pain is an inevitable part of life. Everyone experiences setbacks, disappointments, and struggles. While most people try to avoid pain at all costs, those who become unstoppable learn to use it as fuel. They understand that pain is not the enemy, it is a teacher, a motivator, and a necessary part of growth. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is not the absence of pain, but how they respond to it. Those who embrace pain and turn it into power become stronger, more resilient, and more determined. Pain can take many forms: failure, rejection, loss, disappointment, or even self-doubt. It can feel overwhelming, crushing, and inescapable. Most people run from it. They distract themselves, numb themselves, or avoid situations that might lead to discomfort. But avoiding pain does not eliminate it. It only delays the lesson it is meant to teach. Those who achieve greatness do not run from pain. They face it head on. They lean into it, endure it, and emerge from it stronger than before. The greatest transformations happen in the moments of deepest pain. When everything feels like it is falling apart, when all hope seems lost, when failure seems unbearable, this is when people have a choice. They can either let the pain break them or let it build them. Those who become unstoppable choose the latter. They understand that pain is temporary, but the strength it builds lasts forever. Every setback, every disappointment, and every hardship is an opportunity to grow. Pain forces people to adapt. When something hurts, it demands attention. It reveals weaknesses, exposes flaws, and shows where improvement is needed. A person who never experiences pain will never have a reason to change. But those who go through difficulties and use them as lessons become wiser, tougher, and more capable. They do not see pain as an obstacle. They see it as a stepping stone. Pain also creates a level of focus and drive that nothing else can. Some of the most successful people in history were driven by pain. The pain of poverty, the pain of rejection, the pain of being underestimated. These experiences fueled their determination to succeed. They refused to accept their circumstances, and instead of letting pain defeat them, they turned it into their greatest advantage. There is a reason why the most powerful stories of success often begin with struggle. Pain adds depth to a person's journey. It builds character, strengthens resilience, and creates a mindset that refuses to quit. Those who have experienced deep pain often develop an unstoppable willpower because they have already endured the worst and come out on the other side. They know they can survive, and that knowledge gives them the confidence to keep pushing forward. Pain also teaches emotional strength. It forces people to confront their fears, doubts, and insecurities. It pushes them beyond their comfort zones. Growth never happens in comfort. Comfort keeps people stagnant, unchallenged, and unprepared for the real struggles of life. But pain forces evolution. It forces action. It forces individuals to rise above their circumstances and become something greater than they thought possible. Most people allow pain to control them. They let it make them bitter, resentful, or defeated. They dwell on it, complain about it, and use it as an excuse to give up. But the strongest individuals take ownership of their pain. They do not blame others or see themselves as victims. They accept the pain as part of the process and decide to turn it into strength. They understand that suffering is not what destroys a person. Avoiding growth is.